Continuation from Part 1 on the fall of the Marble House. If you haven't seen Part 1, The Fire Before the Flames, start there to witness how the storm began. Sit down and relax, because the tragedy you're about to witness is already on its way. In a house built on perfection, secrets are like cracks in marble, invisible at first, until they shatter everything. If this story left you silent for a moment, then don't forget to subscribe for more crimes that hide behind luxury, love, and lies. Like, share, and stay with us, because every echo leaves another scar. The face-off occurred on a stifling April day. Hind had meticulously arranged the scheduling, ensuring the mansion was empty aside from herself and Clarice. In the kitchen, she confronted the young woman, her straightforward interrogating starting systematically. "The pregnancy examination in your chamber," she expressed plainly. "When were you intending to inform me?" The blade fell from Clarice's grasp as her self-control ultimately broke. For 20 minutes, Clarice sustained her rejections via progressively frantic clarifications, but as Hind showed fragment after fragment of proof, her opposition collapsed like sand in Dubai's desert gusts. The collapse moment arrived when water started flowing down Clarice's face, and the reality poured out in fractured English combined with Tagalog expressions. "I am very apologetic, madam. I never desired this to occur," she sobbed, her hands shifting defensively to her yet flat abdomen. The thorough disclosure that came next destroyed any surviving false beliefs about Hind's matrimony. The relationship had been continuing for half a year, commencing when Hind was abroad caring for her sick mother. Nasser had not just chased Clarice during her susceptibility and loneliness, but had created assurances that depicted their connection as greater than an incidental disloyalty. "He stated he adores me?" Clarice cried. "He declared we would relocate to Abu Dhabi. That he would look after me and the infant. He affirmed he would wed me correctly, that you would comprehend finally." The innocent optimism in her voice caused Hind's stomach to churn as she recognized the extent of manipulation involved. Clarice's viewpoint appeared through her weeping admission, a complicated combination of real sentimental connection and financial hopelessness. Most devastating of all were the gestation particulars. 3 months progressed, cautiously arranged mutually with Nasser. While Hind had been enduring another cycle of agonizing conception therapies, her spouse had been producing the family she urgently desired with their household employee. Hind's response developed through clear stages as the entire range of the deceit became apparent. First, incredulity yielded to an increasing fury that appeared to bodily warm the atmosphere surrounding her. The sensation of disloyalty was so deep it showed itself bodily. The authority relations between boss and worker changed strikingly as fact substituted concealment. Clarice turned into a female combating for her tomorrow and that of her expected baby, while Hind, deprived of her delusions about matrimonial joy, discovered herself confronting an opponent she had never envisioned. The sentimental intricacy of the circumstance endangered to overpower Hind's capacity to comprehend what she was listening to, as compassion for Clarice's susceptibility conflicted with an anger so strong it scared her. The conversation exposed the home interactions that had allowed such intricate deceit, including hidden signs and the involvement of other personnel members who had selected quiet over faithfulness. The mansion that had been her refuge now seemed polluted by months of falsehoods and treachery. As the daytime sun started to descend, Hind understood that the ideal existence she had passed 20 years constructing was established on bases much weaker than she had ever conceived. The disclosure had converted not only her comprehension of her wedlock, but her whole feeling of self and position in Dubai's complicated societal structure. And as Clarice's cries resonated through the stone-walled cooking area, Hind sensed something sinister and permanent starting to form in her thoughts. The following evening, April 15th, commenced with mechanical regularity. Hind observed all things with increased consciousness, her perceptions intensified by the ruinous disclosures of the day. She observed Nasser move nourishment around his dish, apparently inattentive, sometimes looking towards the kitchen. Their slight exchanges had assumed menacing significance, a short visual connection, the manner he stayed close to the kitchen entrance, the nearly unnoticeable head gestures she provided him before vanishing upstairs. The ultimate catalyst arrived just after 11 p.m. when Hind accidentally heard murmured voices from the top story. Remaining at the base of the stone steps, she intercepted pieces of discussion about flat showings in Abu Dhabi, infant titles, and a schedule for beginning anew. The relaxed closeness in their voices, the mutual tomorrow they were arranging while she rested ignorantly downstairs solidified her choice into something unfeeling and permanent. Her psychological readiness assumed an almost ceremonial nature as 12 o'clock neared. 20 years of matrimony, reduced to this instant of total treachery. Her selection seemed less like option and more like unavoidable outcome. At 2:47 a.m., Hind started her systematic motion through the mansion, her detailed familiarity with each groaning plank permitting her to move in total quiet. The fuel, kept in a 5-liter receptacle, seemed weightier than anticipated as she transported it upstairs towards Clarice's living space. Remaining outside Clarice's entrance, Hind could detect the gentle respiration of slumber from inside. She readily fixed the basic internal device from the exterior with a seat jammed under the grip. The airflow system turned into her distribution technique as she cautiously streamed fuel through the metal grids, the industrial odor occupying the thin passageway. Her actions were intentional, nearly ritualistic, as she got ready to annihilate not only Clarice, but the future they had arranged jointly. In her thoughts, this was not killing, it was obliteration, eliminating the pollution that had tainted her flawless existence. The solitary match ignited on the rock surface produced a short blaze of illumination before Hind released it through the airflow lattice. The lighting was instant and forceful. Fuel gases detonating in a fireball that broke the chamber's minor window and propelled fire, speeding along wooden roof supports quicker than she had expected. Her intended getaway path became pressing as blaze extended past the tiny room, devouring customary Arabic design features. The mansion's design turned into a roadway for fire that extended towards Nasser's sleeping room with frightening rapidity. Nasser's rousing arrived via smoke detectors penetrating the night atmosphere at 3:02 a.m. His instant confusion surrendered to terror as he recognized the top level was surrounded by fire. In spite of the clear peril, his initial impulse was to get to Clarice. A reaction that disclosed the profundity of his sentimental connection. The secured entrance and extreme warmth produced impassable barriers as he attempted frantically to attain the origin of the blaze. Fume breathing started impacting his coordination and reasoning as he fought with the improvised blockade. His last instants were expended not escaping to security, but trying to rescue the female bearing his offspring. Dubai Fire Department's reaction period of 13 minutes was regarded as outstanding, but the mansion's top story was already destroyed when expert fire combatants reached the scene. Rescue activities disclosed the complete extent of the disaster. Nasser was discovered fallen close to Clarice's entrance. Defeated by fume breathing, Clarice herself was found senseless in her chamber, gravely charred but still living, and Hind was situated on the bottom level, enduring small burns and obvious trauma. Her cautiously arranged continued existence a sharp difference to the ruin above. The direct consequences changed their peaceful community into a law-breaking location. The distinctive fuel smell and scorched designs narrated an account that opposed any likelihood of unintentional blaze. Press focus was rapid and powerful, with the narrative containing all elements that seized universal notice: riches, disloyalty, household laborers' entitlements, and lethal outcomes. The blaze had devoured more than merely a structure, it had ruined existences, revealed fundamental weaknesses, and generated wave impacts that would echo for years in the future. The probe developed with systematic exactness. Investigators discovered fuel remnants focused all through Clarice's chamber, and characteristic fire starter scorch designs. Surveillance camera recordings created an undeniable chronology of prior intention. Electronic examination disclosed the profundity of preparation behind her deeds, including investigations of fire conduct and cache acquisitions of extra fuel holders. Observer accounts depicted an image of a female absorbed by treachery and systematically organizing her vengeance. Nasser expired the following day, never recovering awareness after fume breathing prompted heart failure. His building firm failed within months as state agreements were terminated and professional associations disintegrated. Clarice Santos battled for her existence for 6 torturous days before yielding to serious burns covering 60% of her physique and breathing difficulties. Her demise crushed her family in the Philippines, who had relied on her monthly money transfers for fundamental subsistence. Hines' legal proceedings started half a year afterwards, pulling global press focus to household labor rights. Prominent Emirati defense lawyers contended temporary mental illness, asserting the uncovering of her spouse's relationship and Clarice's gestation had activated a mental collapse. The legal opposition displayed overpowering proof of prior intention, the methodical examination of the relationship, the cautious preparation of the blaze, and the deliberate scheduling of her deeds. They depicted Hine not as a sufferer of disloyalty, but as a scheming murderer who had selected homicide over lawful solutions. The admission instant arrived during her 3rd day of witness statement. "I did not desire to cause his death," she wept before the filled legal chamber. "I merely wished to observe him forfeit her the manner I forfeited all things." The declaration disclosed the retaliation motivation that had propelled her deeds, not just removing Clarice, but compelling Nasser to endure the deprivation of someone he adored before expiring himself. The final judgment reflected the complicated societal and lawful reflections included in the lawsuit. Hine got a 20-year punishment with chance of early release after 15 years, dependent on finishing psychological wellness therapy. The catastrophe accelerated major improvements in UE household labor safeguards. Fresh rules mandated frequent well-being inspections, enhanced grievance systems, and tighter supervision of boss-worker connections. The sponsorship framework experienced alterations permitting laborers more movement and lawful safeguards. 5 years afterwards, quantifiable enhancements in household laborer circumstances had appeared from the remains of the Al-Mazri mansion. Clarice Santos turned into an emblem for laborer rights support, with instructional plans carrying her identity and an educational grant fund assisting many youthful nurses. The flawless front of foreign resident existence in Dubai had been permanently changed, substituted by larger consciousness of the human price hidden behind marble walls and luxury lifestyles. The tragedy served as a somber reminder of the profound human costs that can fester beneath a pristine surface, forever altering the community and its laws. The fire at the Al-Mazri mansion was more than a domestic tragedy. It was a mirror reflecting the hidden fractures behind Dubai's glittering facade. Beneath the marble and gold lay pain, betrayal, and a silence that burned louder than the flames themselves. But from the ashes rose change, laws rewritten, voices finally heard, and a legacy that carried Clarice's name beyond the walls that confined her. The marble house may have fallen, but its echoes still haunt every corner of privilege and power. This marks the end of part 2 of The Fall of the Marble House. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Echoes of Crime for more haunting true stories that expose the darkness behind beauty. Your support keeps these untold stories alive.